What is equitable distribution in Florida? I'm Adam B. Cordover, a collaborative divorce attorney here in Tampa Bay. Equitable distribution is just a fancy way of saying how you and your spouse are going to divide up your assets and debts in divorce. In Florida, there are default rules that the courts follow, but ultimately, you and your spouse can agree on something different. But generally, anything you purchased or acquired, or debts you incurred before the marriage stays yours, your premarital assets and liabilities. But once you are married, pretty much anything you purchase or acquire, or any debt you take on, is considered marital, with both of you entitled to 50% and both of you responsible for 50%, regardless of whose name the asset or debt is in, and no matter who knew about the purchase or debt. Now, there are exceptions. So, for example, inheritances and gifts from third parties, if kept separate, generally remain yours alone. Additionally, there might be some assets that are part marital and part non-marital. For instance, if you put a down payment on a house before the marriage, but paid the mortgage with income you earned during the marriage, part of the house might be marital and part non-marital. Similarly, if you contribute to a 401k, 403b, or 457 plan, in part before the marriage and in part during the marriage, you might have a marital portion and a non-marital portion of these accounts. Of course, before you divide up your marital assets and debts, it's important for each spouse to know what there is to divide. That is why Florida law requires each spouse to fill out and exchange financial affidavits that list all of your income, expenses, assets, and debts. There's also mandatory disclosure of financial documents, such as pay stubs, tax returns, and account statements. In traditional divorce, both spouses file their financial affidavits in the public court file, and their other documents can become public if entered into evidence at hearings or a trial. In a collaborative divorce, on the other hand, we tend to keep all of this private and far away from the public eye. Though we are still required to fill out and exchange financial affidavits, most clients agree not to file them. Further, we generally use a neutral financial professional to work with both of you and gather this information efficiently. It's typically smoother and often less expensive than both of you relying on separate attorneys at higher attorney rates, filing discovery requests against each other for every detail. In my work with families across Florida, I've seen how this approach creates efficiency and reduces conflict. To learn more, I invite you to schedule a virtual planning meeting by calling us at 813-443-0615 or visiting our website at familydiplomacy.com. We work with clients in every county in Florida with offices available by appointment in Tampa, St. Petersburg, and Sarasota. When discretion matters, count on us.